Well, hello there. Welcome to ESTNN's first ever CSGO Weekly. This is your host, Dom. I'll be joining by Nick here, news writer. I'm the feature writer who does a bit of news as well. You may also know me from my pick'ems, and here we are doing our first podcast together. First podcast for ESTNN, definitely not the last. Hopefully we can start the ball high. And as you know, today we're talking about I Am Katowice 2019, and then we're going to be talking a bit about StarLadder as well. How you doing, Nick?
Well, Dom, how are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good, thank you. I'm doing pretty good. So, what do you think of the major so far overall? What's your verdict?
I'm a very, very big fan. They've done an amazing job. The casters have been great. The analysts have been great. The format, I think, is fantastic. I think it's a good way to start the year in CS:GO.
Yeah, definitely. I think while I'm not a huge fan of the seeding, which we'll talk about soon because I'm not sure about its fairness, I think that it has actually really created some really good matchups as well. Some of the matches and the maps have been really good. We've seen a lot of. Look at the playoff brackets. It was the strongest playoff bracket we've seen in ages. So it's definitely doing a lot for that regard. But
yeah, you wouldn't want anything else. You wouldn't want a playoff bracket to look anything else than what it looks like right now.
Oh yeah, you've got a couple of really good storylines in there. You've got a really good matchup. So I'm all for the major at the moment. So we're going to just break down what we've got at the moment. Obviously, there's three stages: Challengers, Legends, and Champions. We're talking about all three. Champions hasn't happened yet, so we'll review that in our next podcast. But starting off tonight, we're going to be talking about the Challenger stage, and arguably the most shocking, I'd argue, the most shocking incident in this stage was Fnatic crashing out. What's your verdict on this one? I can't get my head around it.
It was. I did not see it going that way, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, Fnatic ended last year very strong. They started off this year really strong. And I was blown away. They looked completely unprepared for the teams that they faced, which honestly should not have been difficult teams for Fnatic to beat.
They lost to Windstrike and Vichy, didn't they?
Listen, I'm sure we'll talk about the Chinese teams in a little bit, but
yeah.
I mean, I can give them the Vichy one because it seems like every major we see a top tier team lose to an Asian team.
Totally unknown.
I simply think it's because they haven't seen anything like them since the last major, right? But losing against a team like Windstrike and then just going. Besides ruining everybody's pick'ems, it ruined my week, kind of. I wanted to see a good Fnatic, and we didn't get it.
Yeah, we as you say, IM Chicago, they nearly locked out Astralis in the semi-finals. Actually, they were really on course to do. I think they choked on Dust 2, and they were 15-14 on Inferno. So while that isn't exactly direct choking on Inferno, they were really in a good position against the Astralis. Is not something many people can say considering the strength of Astralis' Inferno. So to go from that to the Challenger stage that we saw, it's a completely different Fnatic, isn't it?
Give me 1 second. Let me shut my door. I absolutely think it is, and the thing about it, anybody that can take Astralis that close, it deserves some consideration, right?
Yeah.
Regardless of what happens in the other matches and stages of the tournament, the fact that Fnatic took Astralis there in Chicago is indicative of kind of how they perform. But I don't know what was wrong with them. It was tough to watch.
See, what you said there about the example about people not crediting Fnatic for doing well against Astralis. MIBR last year were a great example of this. People talked down that Tarek and Stewie 2K roster so much when it pushed Astralis to the limit a lot of times. And still did reasonably well. But everyone remembers that as the bad MIBR roster. I mean, was it really that bad? And then you can directly compare that to Fnatic. Fnatic have done well against Astralis. And it comes to this tournament, and they look awful. It just doesn't really make sense. So, I mean, as I say, we can't really get our heads around it. It was really poor performance. I just think that I wrote an article about it, which you can read on ESTNN.com. Hint, hint, hint.
Make sure you guys go do that.
Yeah, make sure you guys read that. But in my article, I'll summarise my main arguments. JW and Twist have a complete role mismatch. Exist is old and doesn't have a clue how to do vetoes. He's old. He doesn't have a clue how to do vetoes. He doesn't. So
it baffles me, especially with the vetoes, because it's not just him, right? They have a coach, and you have you have 3 other super experienced people on that team. And the fact that for some reason they can't seem to nail down that part of their game is super concerning to me. And I think it either speaks to them overhyping themselves and going, you know what, listen, we don't need to do the easy strat, right? We don't need to ban their best map because we'll be better on that map than they are. So we'll just play it. That's not how you should.
Reeks of overconfidence to me.
Yeah, absolutely. You have to veto smart every time, regardless of whether or not you think your skill level is head and tails above your opponents.
Yeah, as I say, I do think Fnatic should make roster moves. I think after the leadership debacle we've had recently and the role mismatch changes need to be made. So in my article, I argue to replace Exist and JW on the main roster with Hampus and Plopsky. Hampus has proven himself, he's still quite a fresh, young age, performs quite well as an IGL, frags well, which is something that will definitely come in useful with the current, meta with like Glaive and Steel being two IGLs that can frag well. It's something that is favoured in the modern game. Pardon. And the coach jumping needs to go and just get Devil Walk in. Devil Walk was their coach during their glory years, and the only reason he left was to go and play again. And now that that's off the cards, why not get him back in? Why not?
I agree. Yeah. I agree, and you can see what, like, we look at Flush's performance in Cloud9, in the play-ins and the challenger stage, or sorry, not the play-ins, but the challenger stage, and he seems like he's had a resurgence, right? So we know players of their caliber can still play well given the right system or given the right amount of leeway. But when you're those veteran players and for some reason you're not able to give yourself that system or that leeway when you all are kind of in charge of the team, that's concerning to me for their future this year.
Yeah, he doesn't really set the right example, does he? He doesn't exist. He just doesn't seem to set the right example. He had problems with his vetoes back in NIP, for example. So I think Fnatic are lions led by donkeys.
I couldn't have said it better myself, Dom.
Yeah, cheers, Nick. Appreciate that one. So we briefly touched on it a minute ago. Asian teams, Tyloo and Vichy. Tyloo are an absolutely baller team. I'm not anyone criticising that team. They are. I don't care. They are different gravy compared to where they used to be. They've got so much more firepower, and they've just got a really good balance in there. And
they're both. Sorry, go ahead.
They are not all the way there, maybe, but with the new European coach, who's going to improve everyone's English, improve the communications, and improve the tactics, Tyloo are really going to be a team to watch in 2019, definitely. And then Vichy surprised many, as you say. They did really well. They went out 2 and 3, I think, didn't
they? Let's see here. Yes. I mean, like you said, we touched on it a little bit earlier, but I think in these early stages of tournaments, the teams from the Asian region will come in and will kind of blow up teams that you wouldn't expect them to blow up. I remember a couple years ago, I think it was MLG Columbus. I don't remember off the top of my head. I remember Tyloo coming in and playing gun rounds with 4 UMPs.
SMG better back in the day.
Yeah, people were like, "What are you doing?" But they took teams that they played by surprise with that, right? Because you just don't see that. You don't prepare to play against that. And I think that is the one X factor that Asia-based teams will always have in Counter-Strike, because it's so NA and EU focused that teams just don't scrim them and they don't see styles. It's almost like we have Counter-Strike in Europe and North America, and you have Counter-Strike in Asia, and they kind of evolve separately from each other. Yeah. And I think that's why you see them win early, and then after teams have 1 or 2 demos to go off of, they drop out. So I think you're completely right in the fact that Tyloo is stacked with aimers right now, and it's not like their strats are bad either, right? They're just getting outplayed in the later stages of tournaments when teams kind of know what they're going to be facing against Tyloo and Vichy.
Yeah, I think that Junta's going to help with that, though, because he's obviously very experienced in Hell Race, so he's obviously going to bring that late tournament morale which they need. I mean, neither of them won one single best of 3, I don't think, at the actual major. Because neither of them advanced, or maybe there was an elimination 1-1, I'm not
correct.
sure.
Tyloo lost against NRG 0-2, Avangar 0-2, and then they put up a map against G2, but lost that too.
So they lost 3, they were 2-0 up. I thought Tyloo were going to throw out at one point. I was like, they've smashed C9, which we'll get onto in a minute. And they look really, really good. But then, as you say, when it comes to best of 3, when you have to really test someone's map pool, they didn't look very strong. So I'd say give Tyloo a bit of time, and they'll probably be a top 10, top 15 team this year. If they moved to... Imagine what happened if Tyloo moved to Europe or North America, the practice environment with an expensive organisation. Jesus Christ. That'd be a sick team.
I completely agree. Tyloo definitely more so than Vichy. I don't think I've seen enough from Vichy to have the confidence that I have in them like I have in Tyloo, but there's also again, you're right. Like if you're scrimming against better opponents, which you're simply not in the Asian scene, right? You're going to become better. Like that's how you improve. You play against better players, and that boosts your own skill level. So seeing them more so in Europe, honestly, than NA, despite that being my home region, I think you could see Tyloo become extremely competitive.
Yeah, definitely. As I say, it's all about that practice environment. And even if they do stay where they are, if they can just do what sort of like Liquid did in 2017, they're just starting to work towards getting more invites for tournaments. And if Charlie can start doing the same thing by impressing and becoming more consistent, then we'll definitely see them on the world stage a lot more. So, they've got a really good team, really good players, but they fell in the best of threes. And because the best of threes are there, we need to talk about these format changes. So the major introduced seeding and all best of threes to eliminate or to be advanced, or all matches to be eliminated from a stage or advance to the next stage are best of three. What are your thoughts on these changes?
Well, let me tackle the best of three changes first. I think that's fantastic.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody should ever be eliminated from a tournament this big by losing three best of ones. It makes sense, right? If you belong there, maybe you should be able to win three best of ones, right? But you have these teams like Vici and Tyloo that can come in and upset well-established, well-practiced teams. So it's given the right set of circumstances, you can have great teams going out super early. The best of threes forces these teams to A, be complete, B, have a good map pool, and C, have the mental endurance and fortitude to make it through, right? Let's say you're down 1-1, you got to have the ability to win that third map and not be thrown by the position that you're in. So I'm a huge fan of the best of threes. I think that is a fantastic change. And I know we might disagree on this. I like the seeding. Yeah. I'm a fan of it, honestly, because too many times as a Liquid fan or a Cloud9 fan, you see the groups, right? And you're like, oh, well, we're definitely not making it to the grand final, right? Despite when you have like a number 2 and a number 3 team in the same group, that seems odd to me. And I think that's kind of the antithesis of we want to see the best teams play the best Counter-Strike in the finals.
Yes. Okay, so I'll tackle those two separately again. Starting with the best of threes. Who's going to disagree on that? Teams shouldn't be able to advance to the next stage of a major, securing status and everything by winning 3 best of ones. It's a failsafe against teams like Tyler and Vici who don't have a deep enough map pool to have any success. So it does let the best teams go through, which is obviously very good. You do want the best teams going through because they can build a good storyline. The worst teams won't be able to build a good storyline, even though the storyline will be better. So
I agree.
Fair enough. Elimination best of 3 is the same. You shouldn't be eliminated from a tournament for losing 3 best of 1, especially when it's the World Championships. Completely in agreement with that. The seeding. Right. I'm going to have to try and explain this very well.
Okay.
I like that the seeding gives out better matchups. It helps us avoid like a Liquid and Astralis on the same side of the bracket that we got at the Facing Major. I'm all for that. I'm all for it being like that. I just don't think that at the World Championships, the biggest tournament of the year, teams strive all year to make it there for the Open qualifiers, the Closed qualifiers, the Minors. Imagine being that team, and you've done everything that you can, and you get put 16th on the seed, and you have to play Astralis first match, then Liquid the next match, and Na'Vi the next match, and then you're out. What can you do about that? How is that fair on you? It's not. It is not an inherently fair system. It favours the big team. You're not a football, soccer fan.
Sure.
Unless you are. So there's a rule called financial fair play in football that's been implemented. This basically means that owners can only spend a certain amount of money. If you go over this threshold, you get fined massively. It's to stop teams from going out of business. But it also is a very detrimental thing, and it's hated by football fans because you can't put the money in that you need to do to buy players to become better. So all the teams that are in the top sit, right. The way financial fair play is calculated is it's percentage of your wage bill that you're allowed to have spending, right?
Right.
So all the big teams that already have the big wage bills can spend tons of money and stay at the top. Teams with smaller wage bills can't buy anyone. So at my football club, Aston Villa, that I support, not mine, but I support them.
Mm-hmm.
They've been bought by a mega rich businessman. He can't put his money in because our wage bill's not big enough for him to be able to put his money in. So we can't buy the players we need to do, etc. So how are we supposed to succeed? We can't succeed. So then if you look at the Counter-Strike example, you can do everything that you can to get to this major, and the second you get there, the odds are stacked against you even more than normal. Yes, you're going to go on LAN against proven teams, but even more than that, even more against you, Valve are just going to give you the middle finger and say, oh, let's have the seeding. This means that you're going to be put against the best opponents from the start. It gives the best opponents the easier run. Yes, it gets them through, but it's not an inherently fair system. And esports and sports is about fair competition. I think competition should be fair for everyone. There's no reason that a team should have an advantage over another. So I don't think it is a fair system. Even the creator of it said in a statement that the system wasn't created to be fair. If the system wasn't created to be fair, why is it there? If Valve are willing to implement an unfair system, it shows what they think about fairness. Ask Steel about fairness when it comes to Valve.
Yeah, don't get me started on that because I'm on the unbanned train. But
we all are.
we all should be. Let's be honest. My argument, I do like the seating, right? I like the idea of it. I'm with you in that it kind of sucks that these teams work. Do they really work the whole year though? They work through the minors, right? If the seeding was based off something as I'm not a fan of giving HLTV any more power than they already have, right? Yeah. But if you base the seedings off of like the HLTV rankings, right? Then what you're saying makes sense, right? Because then you can work your entire year, right? And then your seeding on that tournament is based on now HLTV rankings are very week to week, right? They can change dramatically. We've seen that with North being ranked, I think 11th right now, and 12, missing out on the major, So they're not infallible, but I definitely think there needs to be some kind of seeding because even if that unfortunately screws over some teams that are seeded lower, I think we as viewers get a better product because that seeding, although imperfect, it lets us see the teams we want to watch play each other, right? You don't want to see Liquid play Astralis anywhere other than the grand final, Yeah. You don't want to see Na'Vi play Astralis or Na'Vi play Liquid, although they did. Anywhere other than the grand final. Like those are big matches, right? So I agree with you in the fact that the seeding does hurt some teams, and I also agree with you in that the implementation of the seeding was a little off. Like the way they had it done, where the teams are ranking each other and the seeds are coming from there, that clearly doesn't take into account the rest of the year or the 6 months in between majors, right? Which, in my opinion, it should. You should be working at those tournaments, those 6 months before the major, to secure yourself a good seed. But unfortunately, it doesn't happen like that right now. But I think this is a good first iteration, and it's unfortunate for those teams that were seeded much lower to have to play Astralis in the challenger stage, right, or in the legend stage. But you're going to have that without seeding, right? And it might even be more egregious because then you're having a number 7 team play Astralis, and Astralis is going to stomp 90% of the competition out there without blinking. So I agree with you in that something needs to change, but I personally enjoyed the seeding this major.
All right. So the first thing you said was about how the major is not all year round. Vitality made it through the Open qualifiers. The first Open qualifier for IM Katowice 2019 started on the 22nd of October 2018. That is just over a month after the Faceit major ended. So the next Open qualifier will start a month after this one ended. That leaves about 2 or 3 months of the year where we're not doing the major. I mean, really?
It's
exactly.
insanity.
The major's happening all the time. So people are spending their entire year working for this major, and they go into this seeding system. Right. I said on Twitter, I think seeding is a good thing because it creates better matchups. It needs much work, though. I think
I agree.
What they should do is they should have it so how you perform at the event will have a much bigger impact on your seeding. Let's say Vichy lose 16-14 to Fnatic. Vichy's seeding should have shot up and Fnatic should have shot down.
I agree.
It should have moved up. It should be a lot more volatile. It should be a lot more mixed up. That way people are getting their placing off of merit and not reputation. Reputation for like Astralis, like there are some tournaments at the Legend stage that haven't played yet in 2019, yet they're getting placed 4th, and there are some that have been grinding the whole time and getting placed 15th. So yes, while they have a legendary reputation, you'll see that some of those teams, like Ents, who've come through, they played at Assembly, they played at somewhere else, I think. They played at the Minor, which counts because that was January, you know. They played a lot more CS than, say, MIBR, and where are they? They got done a lot lower on the seeding, but they've got to the quarterfinals. They've proved a bit of merit. Even they weren't at their best end, as we'll get to. But my point is, I just think the seeding needs to be done so the more range you get as a lower ranked team against a higher ranked team, that gives you like a higher proportion of the seeding points, and eventually this will just mean the seeding will work on how you perform. So start it with the players picking it. I don't mind, but then move it around a bit, and that way it can become better. But in the end, it's not an inherently fair system. To create a fair system, it needs to become a little bit more random and a bit less rigged and a bit... Because now it's just rigged. The players can pick it and it will hardly change. The seeds don't really change that much. So if you have the seeds changing a lot more, if you have that, then it will be a lot more subject to change, and that will make it a little fair, a bit more random. And your point about the matches we all want to see. The best major storyline in the history of CSGO is Cloud9 winning the E-League Boston Major. They weren't the favourite. No one expected to see them in the playoffs, let alone the final. Yet, in the quarterfinals, the G2 went 3-0 in the new Legend stage. Everyone was like, oh my god, G2 are going to wreck. And then C9 walked through them. Semi-finals, oh, it's SK, Fallen's going to set up a library, it's going to be great. C9 beat them. FaZe always beat Cloud9. And Cloud9 won. It was an amazing match. It broke all the viewership records. Everyone will talk about that in CSGO history forever. The first NA win in a major. Stewie on the Inferno B site. Bardov casting. But look at the time, Dan.
Do you remember
He's got
where
7
you were?
seconds to plant the bomb.
Yeah.
Like,
do you remember where you were when C9 won the major?
Yeah. And then look at Gambit at Krakow. Zeus wins his first major. Hobbit the rookie. Dozy the veteran. Adrian the veteran. Mo. Like, Immortals getting to the final. There were so many good storylines, and it wasn't the best team winning. It wasn't a top 5, 10 team winning. It was so great. The E-League Boston Major is one of the best majors in history. In fact, the most boring major in the history of CSGO happened in September 2018 when the best team crushed everyone. And that is what would happen again. That is what will keep happening unless something's done. Seeding does a little bit, but it could do way more if it was tweaked.
Sure. And again, I don't disagree with you. I just, in general, this has been one of my favorite majors to watch since I've been watching majors. It's just felt like every game I watched was competitive for the most part, you know, which felt good to me as a viewer, you know.
It's definitely a very good major, especially in comparison to the last one. And one of the most famous features of this in the Challenger stage, segueing back into the actual tournament now, because we went off on a massive tangent about majors being boring.
As is to happen, yeah.
Yeah, the boys?
The boys.
Yeah, the boys. 3-0. What the hell?
Gotta find my tennis shoe and a beer, because Renegades is throwing it down right now.
Just get my slipper out and just do a shoey with my slipper.
I'm extremely impressed by what they're showing.
It's actually mental.
Incredibly impressed.
If you compare it to how their rosters performed at the end of last year, it looked a little bit better, but it didn't look great. And then they've come back this year. They've had that massive boot camp in Katowice. They look legit. That's the way I thought. They really do. Legit.
They look like a top 5 team. 100%.
I mean, I wouldn't go that.
They look better than MIBR.
Saying they look better. We'll talk about MIBR in a little bit, because I'm just going to... Sorry, all the Brazilian fanboys, but MIBR aren't all they crack a bit. Look, Renegades look very good. Not going to take that away from them. Challenger stage went 3-0. No one expected it. Yeah, the boys, they look really good. But we'll be talking about them a lot later in the video because of the new Legends and the new Champion stage. So, à la française. L'équipe de Vitality est G2. That's my GCSE French coming in clutch.
It's fantastic.
I
Better
apologise. I apologise.
Better than mine.
Bonjour Johnson. Bonjour Johnson. Mon français est très merde. I won't translate merde. I won't translate that one. We'll get demonetised.
So,
right, G2 with Vitality and their sneak through. What do you think about that?
I'm disappointed. I'm disappointed because I don't feel like they deserve to be there, in the sense that I literally feel like they tripped over their own feet and then found themselves in the playoffs. I don't understand how it's happened. Every time I watch either G2 or Vitality, honestly, I just go, what has happened to the French scene?
Jesus, that's a bit harsh.
I just don't understand.
Compare
you have people. I don't know, man. You have legends of this game. You have Shocks. You have NBK, right? Like Apex and Body and
Body's
Kenny
not a legend
S
of this game.
Okay, fine.
Body's not a legend of this game.
Sure, I'll give you that. But he's a veteran, right? And I look at these teams on paper. At this point, he has been playing for what? 2 years?
A veteran.
3 years?
If being a veteran is quantifying you for 2 years, yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to look at when he joined G2. Let me do real quick, just for reference.
Okay.
He joined in April 2016, so he's coming up to 3 years.
Okay. I mean, at that point, I think you should have your stuff together.
He's still a little kid,
right? I don't understand how you can have these minds of CS, right? That we all acknowledge are great CS minds. And I don't understand how from map to map they can look. Some rounds they go, there's I'm having flashbacks to Titan, right? And then some rounds I'm like, what is this MDL? I don't understand how this happens. And I'm not well connected enough, and I don't know these people. But I can't imagine what is going on inside the communication and inside the team that causes these huge swings. And it's been like this for French teams for what? The past year and a half? Past 2 years?
Yeah.
It's been rough.
I mean, I think we need to separate G2 and Vitality real quick. Vitality have looked pretty legit for their level since they've, kicked Alex. They've looked even better from that. They did obviously won that DreamHack event with Happy, but there you go. DreamHack Open, Tours or Montreal, one of the two. I'm not sure. It was neither. It was DreamHack Winter. No, it was some DreamHack. They won X DreamHack tournament. You're off the camera, by the way. There we go. You're coming back in. Nice. But yeah, point is, G2 and Vitality are very separate teams. G2 were 0-2. They looked awful. They looked absolutely awful. Then they've just pulled something out from God knows where, and they've managed to scrape through. They have not looked good doing it.
Right.
But I think I picked G2 originally because I said the experience that they've got, the raw talent that they've got, even with such a poorly made system, these people are big name players who turn up on the big stages. And they did. So fair enough. Vitality, they've not looked great, but bear in mind...
You mean the Zywoo carry squad Vitality?
I mean, Zywoo hasn't actually been astronomical at the major. That you'd expect that. It's his first major. You could have done a Cirque, and he didn't do a Cirque. Think of it that way.
He could have done a Cirque.
He didn't do a Cirque. He's looked legit. Fair play to him. Vitality have suffered without him carrying, but it's a learning experience for them. They've got to learn that they can't rely on one man. It's not good. You can't do it.
But they shouldn't have to learn that. NBK should know that.
When you've got Zinedine Zywoo, I guess he's just like, everything that I knew about CS, doesn't matter, does it? I've got Zywoo. Yeah. Is that what we're going through NBK's mind? I mean, I think it's good they both got through. I like Vitality. I love Zywoo. Apex is the best entry fragger in France. NBK is an underrated IGL. Yeah, I'm annoying you. It's true.
No. Don't get me wrong. I want to see them succeed. I think NBK is one of the most interesting personalities in the scene. There's just something about NBK that I really like, and I want to see these teams succeed, because if these teams succeed, then maybe, for the love of God, we can have 6 or 7 teams that can challenge Astralis and have some sort of parity in the scene right now. But we don't have that. I want these veterans to come in and start blowing up the scene, and no matter how many times they juggle French players in between 2 or 3 teams, we're never able to see a team form that is truly dominant like Titan was, you know? And I miss that. That's all I'm saying.
It's not as bad as the Swedish scene. That's just a Lecro fell out with Fnatic. They thought he was a weirdo. That's the long and short of it. So they didn't like him. That's in an interview with Cruz from HLTV. But
wow,
it's true. Yeah, they just didn't bond at all outside of the game. So the Swedish scene, Lamau, and then you come to the French scene. And you think Amanek is not on G2 or Vitality. What are you doing? What are you doing? He's a free agent now. He's one of the best players in France. He's consistently good for almost the entirety of his career. Everywhere he's gone, he's made the team better, and he stood out while doing it. He's built duos with Devajuve. He's built a duo with Alex. Now his mate's gone, and I think he can make one of those teams better. Look, minus RPK plus Amanek for Vitality. That gives them just that little bit more firepower, a little bit more freshness, a little bit more desire. They'd have gone through that stage with him.
They need something spicy, and
Amanek is spicy, my dude.
He's spicy to me. That's what I'm saying.
Francois Delaunay is spicy.
I completely agree with you on this. That the fact that he's not like. Look, he wasn't too strong on Misfits way back when they were being led by Sean, but like that team wasn't a strong team.
He was still one of their best performers.
He absolutely that's what I'm saying. Like he performed above and beyond how that team was actually capable of performing. You know, I think you put him in a veteran led squad with some leadership, and he will 100% perform better than we've ever seen him. I just don't understand. It's like an old boys club right now in France, and it's clearly not working out for anybody.
What do you mean? You know what I call shocks? The slightly nicer Nika. Existence. I am the captain now. Le captain. And that's it.
I love it.
Imagine removing one of your... is there a better French IGL out there than Existence? Well, Belgian. But you know what I mean? Think about it. French-speaking IGL? Come on. There's not.
No.
MBK, you could make some arguments, but his team gets carried by Zywu, and I think he had a history in game leading in an Envious or something where he wasn't very successful. I wasn't watching CSGO then, so I can't really comment. That's just off the top of my head. But imagine if you had Existence in a team. Shox and Kenny don't work. They don't frag together. There's no point. I would just... it never happened in the past, and that's when France was the most successful. The second France started to die off, and they're like, right, we're going to bring the two Titans together. It just got even worse. So I don't think that's the answer. Existence, Shox, Amanek, Zywu, and some nice role player again. Body, no, I don't like Body. Maybe Jax or something. He's alright.
It would be nice to see. It would be nice to see for sure.
Again, all people do, including myself all day, is dream up hypothetical French rosters that would never happen because of industry politics. Yep. You know, Kiyoshima's in Cloud9. He's proved himself in IGL a little bit. He's proved competence at it. He can do a stand-up role. He can do a support role. He's not in the French scene. Why? Industry politics. And welcome to France. Moving on from France to an even more... what word would we use for the CIS scene bit? Read Richard Lewis's article. We'll start with that. If you want to learn about Russian esports, read Richard Lewis's series on VK Esports about Russian esports. Okay. Avantgarde. They looked pretty legit, didn't they?
I was impressed. James might be my new favorite player.
Ooh, James.
That dude's...
Are we going to have the James
debate? That dude's got some flair. He's got some flair to him.
I don't know.
It is pretty...
He's a good player, but I don't like him. I don't like his play style at all. I think he's very, very passive. I think he allows his team to die in some situations so that he can go for late round clutches. Fair. I've never seen him pull off many clutches, so I don't think his play style complements his actual skills in the game, his skill set. I'm going to set myself up to clutch, but never clutch. Okay, he gets good numbers while IGLing, but I mean, you're IGLing.
I guess my question, this is a young team, right? This is a frankly pretty inexperienced team.
Kicker's really good.
I hate it when teams turn into farm teams, right? But if you put James, I know we're talking about Avantgarde, just real quick. If you put James under some veteran leadership, I think they could tune his play style to something that suited him a little more, or tune his role, sorry. But insofar as how they performed, I was thoroughly impressed.
Yeah, they look pretty good.
I was a little worried for any team that played them, quite frankly.
Yeah, I mean, they definitely got potential to be good. If they got LMBT as coach, just a little concept, that'd be pretty good, wouldn't it? And then on a brief CIS note, we didn't actually mention this in the planning. Vega and Spirit went out, no surprises there. I got my Spirit 03 pick correct. Vega, the upset squadron, didn't do very much. Chopper got cut afterwards. End of story. And now we go on to Cloud9. Thanks, Golden Boy.
Let's do it. This is my wheelhouse.
They got 16-3'd by Tyloo.
Any NACS. Yeah, but then didn't they 16-3 MIBR? So it all works out.
That's the legend stage.
Don't get ahead of yourself. It balances out.
Nah.
I can't have you taking shots at Cloud9.
Nah.
Portilio will start coming after me.
I'm Tanner from high school. Like, no, they made it through. Fair play.
So, like I said, right. But like I said, that I think this is the match that Tyloo wins, right? Because nobody knows what they're doing. The Asian teams confuse everybody these first two rounds because there's no demos on them, right? Yeah. So I think Cloud9, because this was on Inferno, wasn't it? Let me check.
If Overpass, I think.
Overpass, okay. Yeah, so it was they got 3 rounds on their T side. I think that's rough.
By the way.
I mean, I think that I don't really know how much we can look at that map, right? I don't know how much I can look at that and say that was indicative of where they are, because they finished off win streak like they should have. I think the mark of an okay to good team is you beat the teams you're supposed to beat, right?
Yeah.
So you take the 2-0 over win strike. You 16-3 a weak seeming MIBR. I'm not willing to put a lot of stock behind that. And then you get 16-0'd by Astralis, which is that hurts. I can't.
Yeah, really. Again, we're talking about the legend stage, mate. We're about Cloud9 in terms of the challenger stage.
Sorry, my fault. Okay, so
I'm joking.
They 2-0 win strike, they 2-1 Furia, and they lose to Tyloo and VG.
They went 1-1, didn't they? Then 1-2 and then 3-2. I think it was that.
Yes, correct.
So, I mean, people are saying Zellsis' trial is ending now. That's much is confirmed. What do you think of Zellsis? Because I'm going to sit here and defend the lad after you've given your opinion.
I'm right there with you, honestly. I think
good on you.
At this point, no matter how good of a player or IGL that Golden is, Cloud9 can't sit around and wait for him to get his health issues under control. And that's not Golden's fault, right? He shouldn't be blamed or flamed for that. He has some health problems that we don't have details on. It's not really our place to know or ask, right? But Cloud9, the org and the team can't sit around and wait for him to come back. And I think Zellsis performed amazingly well. He had the pistol clutch on Mirage.
Oh yeah, that was a good touch.
Yeah, I mean, the kid did not seem spun out by the fact that he was playing in a major, and I think that bodes well for him in the future. I think Cloud9 should keep him.
I'm just showing out on the stream now. I've just got some sweets in. Fizzicola Lances from Aldi. Can't go wrong. But yeah, I think Zellsis has been chucked in the deep end. I said it on Twitter. He's been chucked in the deep end. He's gone from like an MDL team that just made itself to Pro League, just about, before falling apart. He proved himself as a very solid and consistent player on that Swap Patrol lineup. And he got chucked into Cloud9 with a bunch of European players, expected to perform at a major. And a lot of his kills are very impactful. And he got stuck into some really poor roles, like playing B on a lot of maps. So it wasn't like he was getting the best roles. And a lot of his kills, while his ratings won't be great if you look at HLTV, a lot of his kills were very impactful. So I think, considering he was chucked into the deep end in a completely new team with a completely new style that he'd never played with before, European style obviously, team with so much going on behind the scenes, Flush's father, with that tragic event, Golden's health issues, all of that going on around the team, the coach issues as well. And they managed to do that, and Zellsis, he's a really good young talent, and I do hope they pick him up permanently. If you're watching this, Zellsis, which I know he's not, grats, I'm going to do a physical lance for you now.
Yeah, can we do Claps and fizzy lads for Zelsis. Yeah, no, I'm right there with you. I was impressed by his performance. Can I talk about MIBR now?
Yeah.
Cloud9. All right. I mean, honestly, that match, the 16-3 MIBR match, I was worried for MIBR, right? I was super concerned. I mean, Flush, I think, played extremely well this major, and he was laying down the law, but automatic opping was on point for most of the rounds. Zelsis was extremely dependable. Rush, I don't know what to say about Rush. He seems like the odd man out at this point, but I was impressed with Cloud9 in the Legend stage, despite the 16-0 from Astralis, because at that point, Astralis is just a snowball rolling downhill, right?
Yeah.
You can't really stop them. So I don't fault them too much for that. I would have liked to see them put up a little more of a fight, but you had Flush's dad. You had. I mean, I think that was a big one. I'm in no way blaming the loss on Flusha, because that's just not how it went down. But I think I was impressed with Cloud9's overall performance in both the Challenger and the Legend stage.
I mean, they simultaneously really pleased me and really disappointed me, because I thought they were going to beat FaZe and actually go through. But they just didn't, because FaZe put up a lot better showing. But honestly, again, I'm impressed with them. They need to keep Celsius. And if they can't, if they have to part ways with Gold and he has to go back to EU, so be it. But they started off that Legend Stage by 16-3ing MIBR. Right, you ready for me to rip them to shreds?
Go for it.
MIBR's new roster has played 3 maps: Mirage, Inferno, and Train. You're telling me that they are going to succeed in the quarterfinals of a major with 3 maps in their pool that we know that we've seen them on? Really? When one of their maps is Renegade's best maps, as is Mirage, one of Renegade's best maps. Train, I think Renegades play that a little bit too. So they need to bring out Dust 2, Cash, and Overpass. Overpass is Renegade's permanent ban. Dust 2 and Cash. You're relying beating an Australian team on Cash and the org mess of T-side momentum that is Dust 2. MIBR are not legit, for God's sake. They started off by getting wrecked by a poor performing C9. They had just scraped through their challenger stage. And I'm now expected to say MIBR KKKKKK, because that's that's why Brazilians laugh, like we put lol or ha ha ha, they put KKKKK. Fair enough. Are you serious? We're supposed to get behind this project, which had done and died in 2017. Really? They're with 3 maps that they've played. Yes, they went through 3-1, I think, so they've had at least 4 or 5 matches. Because they had the best of 3 against Nip, and then two or 3 BL1s before that. I mean, come on. MIBR. Show me actual maps. Show me competence on a range of maps. Their maps are going to be dry. They haven't played a single official on half of their map pool. How are they going to succeed in the playoffs of a major for the first time?
If I could play devil's advocate, because I agree with you 100%, I would say that they've only played what? They only play those 3 maps, but this lineup is not a new lineup. It's new, but it existed many times before in various iterations. I mean, MIBR is a mess. They're always going to make it into tournaments, right? And they're always going to make it decently far. And every once in a while, they might win one, right? But at this point, it is like some weird, incestuous Brazilian thing where you're switching 2 or 3 players between 2 or 3 teams constantly, right? And I think the problem is Fallen. We talked about this a little earlier, just you and I. I think the problem is Fallen. I think you need new blood in there, because you see flashes of old Fallen opping occasionally, but I don't know where the strats went. I don't know what he's doing now. If he just pulls out like an old notebook from 2016 Luminosity days, and goes, okay, we're going to run this strat. It's like, that's old news. They need to spice it up. And I think Fallen is the one that needs to go. I may be jumping to conclusions about roster swaps. I know he's the father of Brazilian CS, but sometimes the father has to retire.
All right, we'll talk about MIBR in terms of their like actual strats then. I mean, they're not going to go and get a strat book from 2017 and say, we're doing this now. They're going to have to create new strats because they've all changed as players. Taco's had his time in Liquid. Phillips has had his time in bloody NTC. So he's obviously changed and matured. Taco's changed and matured from his time in Liquid. There's going to be a different team with different players, different metas. They're obviously going to make new strats. And those strats we've not seen on 3 maps. So they're going to be dry. They're not going to be ready. Oh, they're ready to go in officials. Are they ready to go in the quarterfinals of a major? Not really.
No,
what are you saying about Fallen then? Alright. Fallen, yes, he's not as good as he used to be. Is he still the in-game leader? Yes. Is he the AWPer? Yes. Name another good in-game leader and another good AWPer from Brazil that could keep MIBR relevant. MIBR was still a top 5 team last year, despite everything. They were on top in 2017. 16, they won the 2 majors. So I think I can't really criticise Fallen because he's kept MIBR up there. So we're obviously going to inherently disagree on that because you're the anti-Fallen. So speaking about more...
I am not... Whoa, you're trying to get me sent death threats.
I'm not saying that. Death threats.
I am not... Hey, Brazilian fans can be very angry when you criticize their teams. I'm not anti-Fallen. I'm simply saying that they've tried this lineup before, and it hasn't worked. Yes. So I don't really know why they're trying it again, and I don't really understand what they think is going to be different. Because like you said, the team has matured, right? Yeah. The players are different players than they were in Luminosity or LG or SK, right? We've seen this core skip from org to org to org to org and keep the same core 3 players. It seems like it mirrors the French scene for me, right? And as I'm not saying they've been bad, right? But the point of competing is to win, and they're not winning anymore.
I mean,
so I'm wondering. It makes me wonder, why aren't they winning, and why are they trying the same things that they tried before when they know those things don't work? What is new now that is suddenly going to make this team click and they're going to start winning tournaments again?
I agree.
I don't know.
This isn't the best MIBR that's going. This isn't the final. There will be more roster changes this year. 100%. I'll put money on it. And the problem does lie in the core 3. It's fair. He's been massively underperforming for ages. He caused issues. Well, I don't think he caused issues. There were issues between him and Yanko because Fer did not like waking up early in the morning to get up for practice, having a strict regimented time schedule. He doesn't like playing CSGO outside of officials and team practice. He's there to play CS and to compete.
Right.
He doesn't have the work ethic to be a long-term top competitor. So you kick him and bring back Bolts, the bloke you should never have kicked. Give Bolts lurking roles. Give Phelps first entry roles that suit Phelps better as a player.
Agreed.
And you've problem solved, haven't you?
That's fair. You know what? I can't argue with that. I think that is a perfectly acceptable way to kind of shake things up.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
We agree.
And not for the first time this podcast. Renegades 3-0. Yeah. Wasn't 3-0, was it? Was it 3-0? Yeah, it was. Yeah, the boys.
Yeah, the 3-0. Yeah.
Yeah, the boys. Yeah, the boys.
Let me check real quick, just so we're not. No. They 16-13 to end, 16-14 phase. They lost 1-2 to Astralis, but then they took it in the 2-1 to Vitality.
All right, 3-1 then. Yeah, the boys. You're the boys. You're the boys.
I'm
legit.
Again, very, very impressed. Nothing more to say than bravo. YTB.
The Grass faction does need to shave.
I like who has the mustache?
It's Grass faction. He needs to shave.
Oh, bring it! No.
Oh, he looks idiot.
He needs to keep. Sometimes when the camera's on him in between rounds and he's just twirling it, John Waters style. I'm a fan. It's a little much, but like
we need a little usual tricks, weren't there? 3-0.
Yep. Liquid as well. I mean, there's not much to say here. I don't want to make this a thing, but the loss that Dupree had of his father, I didn't know if that was going to affect them or not. He proved that he's a consummate competitor, and he was able to push through that and do extremely well. Liquid, same story. They had a couple close ones, and I had flashbacks to jumping double from cold, where Liquid just chokes away a huge lead, and they lose the match, and they're out, right? Liquid with Adren as coach, I feel like has really, even before that, like with Zeus, because Zeus really laid the foundation, right? But it's good to see that Adren has taken the reins over, and they still have kept that ability to, win, even when they're getting come back on. So I don't think anyone disagrees with us when we say that these two teams, despite some matches being close, right? Despite Renegades taking a map off Astralis, these two teams are clearly the best, the top two teams in the world. Like, there's not much to say about them. I'm excited.
If CSGO was a monopoly board, Astralis would own the purple, green, and yellow sets. Mm-hmm. Liquid own the red sets, and then there's everyone else. So red and orange. Astralis and Liquid are ahead of everyone else, and Astralis and Moz ahead of Liquid, and that's it. I mean, on the topic of Adren, your T-shirt giving a bit of a shout out, but
he deserves it.
Yeah, but I think that he's actually brought a bit of culture back to this team, a bit of classic Liquid, a bit of the North American mentality. And while I'm not having to dig at Brazilians, but a North American team should have a North American influence. It's a better culture match. It includes a bit of team chemistry in that. So fair play to him doing well. The team is adapting around Stewie 2K as well, which I think is quite interesting. It isn't like they're just, here's Stewie, here's a list of taco stuff, you're doing that now. They've changed it up, they've adapted to his play style, adapted him as a player, and really made it work.
So prior to the stage, I actually went back and I watched Liquid's matches from iBuyPower. I downloaded the demos and I just watched Stewie. And I wanted to see how they were trying to bring him in, right? The way they brought him in was really interesting, actually. A lot of times while playing Dust 2, they were dropping the op for Stewie and not Nitro and just saying, Stewie, do what you want.
That's what
right?
I said.
We're going to run... Absolutely.
Very quickly. When Stewie joined, I said, make him main up, and I stand by that. Make him main up, for God's sake. Carry on, sorry.
You saw the other four members of Liquid running executes, right? They're throwing timing nades, and they're just literally just like Stewie, like, go hang out in B tunnels and get a pick, right? We'll take care of this. We'll four-man this, and you just do you.
So
right?
Stewie's lurking on the T side a bit.
So at iBuyPower, right? Here.
Ooh, okay.
So they brought him in really slowly, right? As for iBuyPower. Here in the major, he has a much more involved role. So they clearly had no time to teach him all the strats before iBuyPower, but they have spent the time in between, I think, in my opinion, fully integrating him
in the Netherlands at the Liquid's facility.
Right. All this. Yeah. I think they have fully phased him into the team. And I think I hate it when people say, oh, we're saving strats. I believe that we have not seen all that, either Liquid or Astralis, frankly. But since we're talking about Liquid, I don't think we've seen all of the strats that Liquid can bring to the table. And I think you're going to see some very interesting things in how they use Stewie and his explosiveness in these upcoming matchups.
I don't think Liquid are going to do as expected. They're either going to tank and we're going to go, well, what was all the hype about? Or they are going to bloody win the major. But we'll talk about that in a bit. Which is dropping these little snippets where we're just saying, we'll talk about that in a bit. We'll talk about that in a bit. Look at this viewer retention. You should all still be watching. Even if you turned off, we're at about an hour mark now. So we're getting really well into this legend stage. And I just want to talk about the complexity situation. Because obviously we were expecting an 0-3. 0-2, it started off that way.
I think everyone was.
Yeah, I think 90% of people picked them. And then their elimination best run against FaZe, they just 16-8'd them on Cash, one of their best maps, which is like, what? No, that was just the weirdest thing. Because obviously they'd previously beat NRG in a best of 3. NRG and Big, actually. Let's backtrack. Holy hell. That's what I wrote in the plan. Holy hell.
Yeah.
Yikes. Yikes. Yikes.
I
Yikes.
can't speak for Big, but you know, you said it earlier. Pulling a Cirque. Cirque looked overwhelmed.
Oh my god.
Cirque looked like he had
Do you know
absolutely.
what? Do you know what's really annoying me?
Nervous. What?
They're signing Tarek to replace Fugly.
Yeah.
Well, on the games I watched, Fugly was one of the best players. Built the foundation for the team to perform, and then you've got, Sir, can you just get this kill for us, please? Gets 1D from across the map while he's posted up on the angle.
I know we're not talking about Tarek right now, but like just real quick, I don't know who else you would replace. Daps is IGL, and you can't replace Cirque. Like,
I mean, do you need to
I don't know.
anyone?
I feel like, unfortunately, like I feel like Tarek is an upgrade over Fugly, but I'm sure we'll cover that next week.
I mean, we'll cover that next week. I'll explain to you why you're wrong.
Fair. I'm ready.
I'll have a nice, juicy debate. But yeah, complexity upset people. Well, by not going 0-3 and by beating FaZe complexity, but still didn't look good. We talked about Cloud9 already. FaZe, they just look directionless, don't they?
Yeah, they really do, honestly. As far as complexity, I think complexity's wins were a result of, even though I said they played phenomenally, and I stick by that, subjectively, they played phenomenally for complexity, right?
Subjectively, yes.
Yes, that's fair. All right,
objectively,
we'll leave it. But
objectively,
I think they played well. I don't know what you want me to say. I think they played really well. From going from what? We don't get to see the... I don't think they show the 90% picked this team to win on the overlay anymore. But you're probably right. It's probably close to 90% predicted them to go 0-3, regardless of how poorly the other teams played. And I don't care how poorly FaZe plays. Olaf and Guardian should be Daps and should be nothing in Shazam every time, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know if Complexity's wins were. I would probably attribute them to there's no pressure on us. You know, we're here with nothing. We're here with the stand-in. So we're just going to play our hearts out, no fear, and it worked out for them, right? FaZe, on the other hand, FaZe look like they're in a bus and nobody's driving. I don't. Like, they still get wins because, like I said, you have Olaf, you have Nico, you have Rain and Guardian and Adren standing in, but, like, these guys are fraggers, and they're not fragging. And it's worrisome to me what we're going to see. I
mean, if you look at it's like a school bus where the bus drivers got kicked out and the popular kids driving now is like, goodbye, Mr. Oh, I can't do a good Nico accent. I won't even try because it will come across as xenophobic or racist. Nico Bliat took the in-game leading Bliat, and the Bliat IGL Nico Bliat. They just look lost on the T sides. There's no cohesion on their CT sides. They remove one of the best in-game leaders in the world for Adren. And Adren's not even that bad a player. But for God's sake, Mousesports got a lot better after they kicked Nico. And do you know what I'm going to say? FaZe, get this bloke out. He's a toxic figure in your team. I don't care how good he is. You shouldn't pander to him. Get him out. Get an in-game leader in. Cut one of Rain, Guardian, Grain, Olaf Meister and Adren for some other young star player that isn't fueled by ego or toxicity. One that won't try and stage a mutiny against one of the best in-game leaders in the world. And that's what you should do.
Yeah. They're just... They look lost to me right now.
Yeah, and because they don't have an in-game leader.
Yeah.
That's why.
No.
I refuse to class him as an in-game leader. I don't even hate the bloke. I remember when they brought ranting about him. I don't hate the bloke. I don't dislike him.
I remember when they brought Kerrigan in, and like this was it. This was the super team that we had in CS:GO.
Then he instantly got Kia back in, and they improved straight away.
Right. It's a confusing team, and I don't know whether it's like you're saying because it's the egos and everybody on that team is a fantastic player. I don't know what the problem is, but there's clearly a problem. I'm smart enough to recognize that, you know.
Yeah, there's definitely needs to be something done there. We talked about C9. We'll go to Vitality. Yep. We've talked about Vitality and G2. and FaZe. We've already really gone off order, haven't we, actually? Because we've just led from one to another.
Wait, it's organic. That's how it happens.
Ents make it through despite unconvincingly. We've got 2 more to do. We'll start with HR.
Okay.
They were awful, weren't they?
Yeah, I don't really know what I was expecting from them.
I didn't expect anything from them. Some people had them as dark horses to advance. Some people had them going out, and I was just like, I don't see anything in that team.
Honestly, every time you do a pick'em, you might have 1 spot left, and you have like 5 teams.
Go on.
So Hellraisers was up there, and I'm like, I can't confidently say that they're going to make it or they're not going to make it. I don't know what to expect from them at all. But
changes are definitely due now. That's just poor.
Yeah.
Maybe losing John to actually triggered this, though.
Yep. I watched every match, right? I watched every match, and I don't remember watching a Hellraisers match. They're glazed over in my brain.
They didn't detect in his brain.
Nothing.
Nick sees nothing.
It's just black.
Yeah,
it's black.
Ents made it through. They reverse sweeped as well, but it wasn't pretty, was it? Let's be fair. I love me a bit of Ents, but it wasn't pretty.
Really. I can't. I'm over it. I'm over the meme.
Thunder strikes in the distance.
It's cool that they made it through. It's cool that they pulled off the reverse sweep. But I mean, there was a thread on HLTV today. Why does everybody like Ents? And the first comment would be because we like the meme. And I feel like
the first comment was what?
Because we like the meme.
I mean, that's I
don't believe anybody's actually an Ents fan.
I am.
I don't believe they exist. Okay.
Are they finished?
All right, so there's one. There's one.
Yeah, let's go Ents. Easy for Ents. I like Ents because there's the memes, but they play legit CS.
All right.
They do play good CS.
If
they've got Alu, who doesn't love Alu? Everyone loves Alu.
If they win the major,
I
will get an easy for Ents tattoo that's like this big.
I can't see that on the camera.
All right, like real time.
Oh, come on.
Yeah. But regardless, I'm not giving you that much. I'm unwilling to commit to a life of that meme, but I will get a real tiny one.
We've got the hashtag Easy Friends, or just Easy Friends. Hashtag Easy Friends, offense with the major from Nick. That's nice. But yeah, they made it through. I'm happy for them. They're a good team. They just need a bit of time, a bit of experience against top tier teams. Coming through to the champion stage, we've got Astralis versus NIP, Renegades versus MIBR, Liquid versus Ents, and Na'Vi versus FaZe. Didn't really talk about Na'Vi actually.
Sure, we can do that.
We'll talk about them very briefly. All the interviews before the event said, what the hell? All the interviews before the event was like, this is going to be a yikes. I was like, no, we'll get through on merit, and that's what they did.
Yep.
Flamies looked a little bit better, so that's good. Promising sign.
But
did you see that interview?
Too.
Yeah.
He was cooking. Sorry, go ahead.
Did you see that interview post-match where it was like, Edward was asked by like Frankie? She's a really good interviewer, by the way.
She's fantastic.
She really
She pushes. I love it. She does great.
If you combine... Yeah, she's really good with the probing questions anyway. But if she asked Edward, like, with all the behind-the-scenes stuff going on, will all this roster stick together if you succeed in the major? He's like, we will do our best. And you're like, oh, that ship's already sailed. This roster's over. But yeah. Astralis versus NIP. I'm going to open up my document here with all my analysis. Okay. I'm glad I saved that. What you got? Astralis versus NIP.
I want to say NIP. That would be dope. But I think it's going to be close. I think Astralis will take it in the end. But I don't think NIP is just going to roll over, quite frankly. I think we've seen enough of them, and I think enough of them to know that they can duke it out. I think... So people always say NIP can win against any team and they can lose against any team.
Yeah, right? That's probably a quite.
And I think it might go 3 maps, quite frankly. But ultimately, I think Astralis takes it home. But NIP's going to make it interesting.
I mean, I've already done all my predictions. I went through them in a video today, which you can check out on this YouTube channel. It'll probably be in the suggested actually. But yeah, I went through all my predictions in the video. Yeah, it is. Somewhere. Who can put it out?
That corner down there.
But I'm not doing the editing. You can do that. I've reserved that. It's not me now. Ha ha ha.
Yeah.
Ha ha ha. Right. Okay. So it's Astralis versus NIP. After all my analysis, NIP will ban Nuke. Astralis will ban Cash. Nip will pick Mirage. Astralis pick Inferno or Dust 2. Decider of Train. And Astralis will win 2-1. Yes, I don't think Nip's permit is nuke. I think it is Dust 2. But Dust 2 is just an RNG map. If they let Astralis pick, if they bait Astralis into punish picking Dust 2, then get like a 14-1 CT side with Orcs, you've won. So you know, it's going to be a gamble from Nip, but Astralis don't lose those.
No.
Mirage makes sense considering it's one of Astralis' weaker maps. Train, they both like it, so why not? Our Renegades versus MIBR. Who you got?
Going with the lads. Going with the boys.
Yeah,
I think this could actually be a 2-0 for Renegades. I would not be surprised if they took it. They're a train picking up steam right now. And I think despite MIBR kind of coming into their own in these last couple of advancement matches, I think that Renegades has a serious chance to win and steamroll MIBR. But that's a gut feeling. I'm not basing that on anything other than... That's just a gut feeling. I'm not basing it on any stats or anything like that. But watching Renegades play, it seems like they are much more on the same page team wise than MIBR are. Definitely. So I'm gonna give it to Renegades here.
I initially picked MIBR. That was when I was with my gut. Then I did all my analysis, and the boys. I've not picked the boys once so far this major, and I've done it at the champion stage.
Maybe you're the reason. Maybe you should.
Maybe I should pick MIBR and Renegades in the major.
Yeah, no. There you go.
Right. I'll do my little map pool. Renegades' permaban is overpassing MIBR's is new. Standard. Renegades will pick into Mirage. You know, MIBR only beat Colin at 16-9, so one of their favoured maps. Simple map for them. MIBR are going to bring out cash. You know, Renegades lost to Vitality on it, only barely scraped past Greyhound on it. So it's definitely something that MIBR will bring out. It's, you know, it's part of their map pool we haven't seen yet, so hopefully they can surprise us. And then Decider will go to Inferno. Most teams like it. It's a good best of 3 Decider. Yeah, Renegades are going to win it 2-0 or 2-1. Liquid versus Ents.
Well, Ents all the way, clearly. I'm kidding.
We're both Liquid fans. Come on. Where's our bias?
This is we won't talk about the grand final just yet, but I may have betrayed I may have abandoned my NA roots for the grand final.
Yeah.
But Liquid takes this. I don't think there's anything. I don't think there's anything Ents can do.
I mean, Liquid will ban Train, Ents will ban Cash, standard permas. Liquid will pick Dust 2 because Ents don't like it, and Liquid love it. Ents will pick Mirage because it's one of their strong maps in Liquid. It look like beatable on it. Inferno Decider if Ents have the last draw because Ents like it, but Liquid they'll probably take it overpass because Ents aren't very good at it. So
yep. So either way, don't be surprised. Don't be surprised if in the champion stage we see Liquid pull out a pocket Train. I really think that
they won't do it. They won't do it.
Just wait for it, dude. No. Stewie on B-side Train, he has played that position since he's played competitive CSGO, and he is fiery in there. So this is my out of left field prediction.
Okay.
I don't think they'll pull it out on Ents, but I think at some point during the champion stage, you're going to see Liquid pull out a Train.
What's my forfeit if Liquid do ban nuke and take in Train? What's my forfeit? I'm not old enough to get a tattoo, so you know. You have to be 17 or 18 in the UK. I'm 16.
I think it's different everywhere. Yeah. Don't worry. This one's free. This one's free. You could we'll have a gentleman's bet on it.
Just a gentleman, just a nice one.
Just a handshake, yeah.
Be nice to the child in the conversation.
Right.
Okay, FaZe versus Na'Vi. FaZe will ban Nuke, Na'Vi will ban Cash. Dust 2 for FaZe, Na'Vi for Mirage, Inferno Decider, Na'Vi 2-0, end of, Nico Bliat, get out. Go on.
I can't, I don't even know how to, I don't know about this game. I really don't. I saw Na'Vi do some crazy stuff. I saw him do some dumb stuff. And if FaZe decides in the next week that they actually want to play Counter-Strike to a high level, this
do you feel like playing CS, Nico?
Yeah. This game could go either way, honestly. If I had to pick it, I would pick Na'Vi because they have looked better and more cohesive than FaZe. But
even
right now I'm
going to couldn't lose to this one.
Yeah. Right now I'm going to say it's probably going to be a 2-1 Na'Vi.
But
I wouldn't be surprised if it was a 2-0, and I honestly, you wouldn't blow my mind if you said that FaZe took it 2-1, but I think the odds are in Navi's favor here.
X to doubt. No, you could play with Yanko in game, and he'd be a better shot caller than Nico. I really don't like Nico. I feel bad. Look, he's a really good individual player.
What's it about him that you don't like?
It's just the way he subverted Carrigan. Doesn't make any sense. I don't care that you're 0-2. I don't care. Don't subvert Carrigan. Trust in Mr. Anderson. Semi-finals. Astralis versus Renegades. 2-0 Astralis. Sorry, the boys' run is ending there.
That's fair.
You can be boys in a men's world.
I can't.
But when you face Astralis, if you're going to go for the Kings, you don't miss your shot, and they won't let you shoot. They'll have a bulletproof vest on.
No. I think at that point they're going to be kicking on all cylinders. They'll have the demos from when they played at Renegades early in the tournament. And as exciting as Renegades is to watch right now, I don't think they have the power to overtake Astralis there.
I think that Renegades are going to go for that nuke ban. Australian, they like to take gambles. That's a generalising stereotype. It's a joke, but there you go. Renegades will ban nuke. Astralis will ban cash, standard. Astralis will pick into overpass, punish pick. Renegades will pick Mirage and go for that win again. Decider of Train, it won't go to that. 2-0 Astralis. Fair enough. Fair play, Renegades. Like your style. Other semi-final, Liquid versus Na'Vi. Liquid will ban Train. Na'Vi will ban Cash. Liquid will pick into Dust 2. Na'Vi will pick into Mirage. Decider with Inferno. Liquid take it on Inferno 2-1.
Interesting. Yeah, I can see it going like that. I think if you do see Train, which, again, like I said, it's out of left field, and it probably won't happen, but if you do see it, you'll see it here. I don't think Liquid would play Train against Astralis.
Imagine if in the vetoes it just comes up with the ban nuke. Oh, you have a little smug grin on your face over in America.
I will tweet at you, I promise.
Oh, that's fine.
Yeah, but I think, this is another hard one to call. Liquid did beat Na'Vi earlier. I think they can do it again, and I think they're going to be even more warmed up, and they're going to have a lot more.
You don't doubt the boys.
No. They're going to have a lot more tape on Na'Vi. Liquid's played, 4 maps? 3 maps in this whole major so far?
4 maps.
Yeah, 4 maps. So
I'm still
Na'Vi's had to play 2 best-of-3s, right? Is that correct?
No.
I think it is. No?
Yeah, it is, because they lost with Liquid and then had to go in the next best-of-3.
So they had to play 2 best-of-3s. I think Liquid's just going to have the information game on them one, in addition to, I think at this point they're going to be clicking on all cylinders.
Okay. And now here it is. All right.
This is where I betray my people.
Astralis versus Liquid. The grand final of IEM Katowice 2019.
If it comes down to this, I think Astralis is going to take it 2-1. I don't think that. Cloud9 won the major because Cloud9 came in with a pug style that nobody could read. Right? They did crazy things, and I think that's why Liquid won iBuyPower, because they came in with Stewie. And they said that Stewie do whatever. So they had the tandem of an unpredictable X Factor and their strats that they've been running forever, in addition to a new coach. I think at this point, now that Stewie's worked into the roster, I think Astralis is going to be able to read them a lot easier. And I do believe, while I do believe Liquid's going to take a map, and I think all 3 will be competitive, Astralis should take it 2-1. As much as it hurts my heart to say.
Okay. Maybe Liquid's looser style at iBuyPower was removing Zeus, removing Taco, and changing the playstyle. Maybe it was assimilating Stewie, but as you say, you mentioned the coach. I think that their style will definitely change. Zeus has his own style, and he'll take that to MIBR now, and Liquid won't have that. But let's talk about the maps, because that's what I've been doing. You've been talking with your gut. Liquid will ban Train. They're not taking Nuke. They're not taking out Nuke.
No.
Astralis will ban Cash. Liquid are then going to pick into Overpass. That is Astralis' historically best, yet currently weakest map, without Mirage. If you leave Mirage in for later in the veto, that obviously adds a spanner in the works. So I think taking up Overpass, which is something they haven't really done much against Astralis in best of 3 finals, be a great change of pace, and it is a map that they will win. They've already beaten him on at iBuyPower, and they'll do it again. Astralis will pick Nick, and look, I don't think Liquid will beat him on Nick. Liquid's new roster hasn't played on Nick. How to the ever? All good things must come to an end, right? No team wins everything forever. Nick didn't go 88-0. Did they? They went 87-0. They lost to Astana Dragons, I think it was, the CI, or Virtus Pro, the CIS team. So all good things must come to an end. What better place is that than the Liquid's hand? You know, the storylines all tying up together. My hair's really bad. Sorry. All the storylines tying up together in the grand final of IM Katowice 2019. That is the best place for it to happen. I don't care if it doesn't happen, because it will go to Mirage in the third map if Liquid get their way, or it will go to Dust 2 on the third map if Astralis get their way. And Liquid will win it. Liquid will win this major. Liquid will beat Astralis 2-1.
I hope you're right.
Listen.
I want you to be right.
On all of my pick'ems so far, up to the champion stage, I've used my gut.
Alright, is this your gut?
For the champion stage, I've abandoned my gut, because I don't have the bottle to do it. I've tried to do a bit of analysis, tried to use a bit of statistics, and using statistics, a bit of my heart and a bit of my gut, Liquid are going to take this major.
Alright.
It has to happen for them eventually, and this is the time for it to happen.
And let's be honest,
the storyline.
Yeah, and
as a Liquid fan, it just makes you so happy.
And I'm sure people are tired of seeing Astralis and Liquid in grand finals. I'm sure that's the case.
Let's have an interesting one, please.
You also can't argue that like a Navi Astralis final is going to bring you the same level as a Liquid Astralis final. Yeah. You know what I mean? Or a Liquid Navi
last year's major final,
or a Liquid phase. You know. So like, regardless of what happens, if these two teams make it, Liquid has consistently gotten closer and closer, and even if they don't beat them, I think it's going to be a great series.
I think it's going to be a really good series, because that's the games that we've had so far in Katowice. And Liquid will win it. I will be very happy about it. I'll be like Rushby Media Ryan's Twitter when C9 win a game. You won't see. I'll just be typing all day, all game. Okay, what was that from Stewie? You know. Yeah, that's the playoff predictions done. You're taking Astralis, you heartless traitor.
I'm sorry.
I am taking Liquid. And just to end the podcast, we're about an hour and 20 minutes. I don't think we'll cross the hour 30 threshold. StarLadder Berlin. 3 main points with that. The location. Berlin, Germany. Big esports place. The capital. Don't think we can disagree with that one.
No, not at all. I think it's... I might even try and go, honestly.
Come to Europe,
city. Yeah. That's an amazing city, and it's an amazing city to have a tournament in.
I'm tempted to go to the ECS Season 7 finals, but I don't know if I have the money or not. All the time. So that's my CS schedule. I've never been to an esports event, might I add. I need to go.
Definitely.
Organiser. StarLadder. So glad they got a major. They've done so many tournaments for so many years with good quality. They know how to run They know how to do best of threes without doing scheduling conflicts. Well, like, they don't run over time a lot. They do a lot of best of 3 games and they condense into a day. So I feel like they can apply their knowledge to the major system to make a really well-planned major in a good location in an esports country, in the capital hell of a country that really is passionate about esports. So I'm really happy that StarLadder Berlin's going to happen. But then
I think it's a good idea.
La caveat. In sports, the World Cup is held at the end of the season every 4 seasons. All of the tournaments, FA Cup, end of the season. Champions League, end of the season. Why the hell do we start the season with a major? Why? The teams who are in the minors don't get a player break. Valve have not listened. Again. And we're not getting the right scheduling. We need to learn from traditional sports, for God's sake. We're esports. We're going to be better than them. Yes, we are. Because we are the future. They're stagnating and we're rising. But we need to learn from sports.
So, I've been thinking this quietly to myself a long time. I think Valve needs to take, and this just kind of proved it to me. It made me think it even more. I think Valve needs to take complete control over Counter-Strike, much like Riot did with League. and I think whether that is a franchise thing, I'm not necessarily for that, but and you run it like League. You have two splits.
Okay. Right.
You have 2 splits and you have the Worlds. You let Face It run 1 split, you let ESL run another split, and you have your Worlds. 2 majors a year, while great for viewers, is terrible for players. And there's too many tournaments right now. And I'm not saying you do it all at once, right? When Riot did it to League, they did it slowly but surely. They took over. They said, okay, now only these organizers can run tournaments. Only these organizers can run tournaments. And due to that, the quality of production and the quality of games has gone up in League over the years. And that's something I want to see for Counter-Strike, right? I want to know that the games will 99% of the time start on time. I want to know that I'm going to hear the same casters, and some casters aren't going to get left out. I haven't seen Pansy in ages, and
She's
I love
gone to
Pansy.
PUBG. That was her decision.
Okay. Regardless, you have Bardolph not at the major. You have DDK not at the major, right?
That's because of like internal issues or something. I just got a fly. You can see it there on my hand.
You got it.
I got it.
Well done.
I got it. First try.
Okay. I don't care what the issues are. I think they're stupid. Okay. The fact that we don't have top tier casting talent at the top of our esport every time is weird.
Okay.
Okay.
Right.
And I remember when Rops first tweeted about it, the fact that there is no player break for people who have to play in the minor because it literally starts the day after. Like, what kind of quality of games does that give to us as fans and viewers?
Okay, right. The decision to have the major after the player break was influenced by Valve. StarLadder pitched it to Valve. Valve didn't say, "Oh, that's bad, let's do that." Valve went, "Yeah, that's fine." So, what can I just say? The funniest part about this entire conversation is that your response to Valve being stupid is, let's give Valve complete control. Let's, yeah. Hello, can you hear me alright? Oh, hold on. We're having some technical issues. I don't know what's going on right now, guys. You can probably hear Nick typing on his keyboard. We're both just going to restart Discord real quick, and then we'll get back in, see how that happens. But, apologies you're going to see this grey screen, but... I think Discord's actually gone down, guys. It says it's awaiting an endpoint. Right, I think I'm just going to, I know I've just copied the, okay, right, we're just going to have to go, right, it says connecting. We'll have to give it a second. We'll have to give it a second, I think. Just see what we can get done. Oh, this is really annoying. This is going to be... Hello, gift me skins, please, in CSGO. We don't gift skins in CSGO. We're an esports podcast. I am going to join the rejoin the voice call on Discord. Turn off camera. We might have to cut it short, It's a StarLadder conspiracy. Right, we're just going to go with no video, see if the server works, just an independent server. Hello, Nick.
Yes, sir.
There we go. We're just going to go without your face for the end of it.
Right.
Sorry.
It's a StarLadder conspiracy. I blame it all on StarLadder.
I just said that. We've got someone called My Name Game in the chat. Give me skins, please, in CSGO. No. Right. I'm going to shoot your argument down. Your response to Valve being stupid is let's give Valve control. Okay. First of all, that makes no sense. You can't give Valve control for being stupid and then blame the tournament organiser for Valve. It's like the student writing something to the teacher and the teacher doesn't mark it properly and then blaming the student. It's the teacher's fault for not marking it properly and teaching the student where to improve. Talking about franchising in CSGO, you're blaming the fact that casters don't get different tournaments on the fact that there are different tournament organisers. There is industry politics. Why doesn't Thorin, one of the best analysts in the game, who spices up a desk every single time he's on there? StarLadder's great because he's there in my opinion. He's a really good analyst. In depth in the game isn't his strength. Making the desk fun, witty, banterous, interesting, keeping viewers in. That's what he does. He's a scapegoat and he does it excellently. He's not at every tournament because of industry politics. Right? So Valve are not going to fix that. We know how incompetent Valve are. They do not care about CSGO. They care about Dota 2.
Right.
They do not pay attention to this game. They do not, according to Glaive, they don't reply to the pros. They only fix bugs if someone has an argument on Twitter over it. The Valve as developers are pathetic. I do not want to give any control to Valve. I'd rather give control to people who have been there for a while and know what the issues are and listen to the players. Valve don't care. They have no passion for CSGO. Their passion is for Dota 2. They don't give one Valve. I just don't want them around.
I guess my point was more along the lines of maybe they would care if they had full control of it, but you're right. If they wanted full control of it, they would take it. So maybe I'm just wishing for a world where Valve cared as much about CS:GO and as Riot cared about League, because Riot has created a fantastic product with League, regardless of what you think about like game wise. Business wise, they've done a fantastic job, and I want that for CS:GO, but it's impossible for anybody to take control of CS:GO besides Valve, if that makes sense.
I mean, who can you trust besides Valve in reality? Like you're saying, Valve aren't good to give it to someone else, but by giving it to someone external to Valve, you're not franchising CS:GO. Franchising CS:GO. Look. We're talking about StarLadder, I believe, for God's sake. We've crossed our 1 hour 30, which we said we wouldn't. And here we are saying that Valve, for being stupid, deserve franchising. Yes, it's worked in League. I like what you said about League, about how they've gradually rolled it in. I think if they did franchise CSGO, that's the best thing to do. Do you want to know something else that could happen to franchising? Overwatch League. And do I need to say any more? the Overwatch League. Can we just have that in like a banner across the stream or something?
I don't know. I disagree. I think the first season of Overwatch League was a good product. I think selling franchises for $30 million was absolutely out of control for an inaugural season. But what have they done? They now have, on average, 150,000 people. 150,000 people sit down and watch things that are on at the same time every week, that have predictable casters and predictable matches.
Do you want the same casters all the time?
Yeah, I do. I want the best casters all the time. Yes.
Okay.
And for academy teams, you get the up and coming talent, right? That your academy teams and your academy casts are it's the same thing, right? That's where you bring in your new talent. But yes, every week I want the best possible CS program that I can watch.
Okay. So you like seeding too because it provides you the best. So you want a new tournament every other week with the same casters in similar locations with same everything. You're boring.
Well, we have that already.
Come in.
Is ESL Pro League boring?
What's up?
We have that already.
Protractor, no, sorry. No, we don't.
What do you mean?
Different casters take different breaks regularly. You see Banks interviewing, you see Frankie interviewing. See Parler interviewing.
Right. And I'm not saying
Moses, Vince.
I'm not saying Vince, you pick
Pansy. Scriv. He did that. I don't know. He's a good caster. That's Scriv guy.
I do like Scriv.
DDK, Bardolph, Scrawny, Launders. There's loads of them.
This is the only way you avoid this is if Valve listens. So this is all a moot point, I guess, and this is all kind of just a hypothetical conversation because Valve is not gonna. They're not going to do they're not going to try and make Counter-Strike a better product, whether that's through...
I'll put it bluntly. I'd be more interested in franchising if Valve gave one about the game.
Sure. I'm not saying you start there.
Then we can have an intelligent conversation about it. We can look at advantage and disadvantage. But for now, handing control over of our favourite esport to someone who doesn't care about it isn't the best decision in the world.
I know.
Yeah, we'll see how that one goes. Anyway.
It just makes me sad. It makes me sad, Dom. I want the players to be able to take a break, right?
The scheduling is awful. There's no doubt about that.
I want the same quality of games. All right, I want the same quality of production. I don't want to like. We chatted about a little bit about WESG earlier today and how WESG is like a joke, right? Nobody wants to watch WESG because it's produced terribly. They have crap teams, and simply nobody wants to watch it. And it's I don't know. I'm sorry. I get heated about it because I want more for the sport that I love. Bro. You know what I mean?
Be emotive. It's something you care about. CSGO, Valve wouldn't be emotive because they don't care.
No.
Exit, right? Okay. So you've said something and I was going to mention it and it was going to be really yeah. You're talking about what Valve do. No fuel. This is ridiculous. I got a 40 bomb in matchmaking this morning and literally the org. Oh my god. It's ridiculous. You just spray people down. It's such an easy recoil. The first bullet accuracy is mental. And you got scope. Oh my god. I can hear a bit of echo on your end, by the way. But it doesn't matter, because the org needs to be patched. Valve need to care more about the devs. Katowice is going to be great. StarLadder Berlin is going to be great, but the scheduling conflicts are awful. And that's what we've talked about today on the podcast.
We've nailed it. We've done a good job, I think.
We've done a really good job for the first podcast, despite Discord crashing out on us. So, I'd like to take this moment now to thank everyone for watching. If you're watching the VOD, then please make sure to share it if you enjoyed it. Leave us a comment with any feedback, any discussion points. Obviously, if you're in the chat at any point in future streams, do drop in and just chat to us. We should be here every Thursday. At least once a week, we'll try and get this podcast done. So, we'll get it done after the champion stage. Will probably be the next one. Thank you all very much for watching. This podcast was brought to you by Phillips and Nick of ESTNN.
Good luck on your pick'ems.
Good luck on your pick'ems. Hope we all get diamond. Let's go liquid. No, thank you all very much for watching. Sorry for putting through all these technological issues and everything. But yeah, first podcast. Thank you all very much. See you in the future. Bye bye.